It is Wednesday, January 2. A happy 2019 to all our viewers. Here's what's making the news today. Guyanese are being assured that the work of the government continues. Felicia Valenzuela has our first report.
In an interview, Minister Jordan tells the nation that it is business as usual as government continues to execute projects and programs outlined in its budget for 2019.
Parliament is still in session. It has not been dissolved. Two, there is a government, and there will be a government until such time as the government has been voted out of office, right? So there will be a government. Three, there is a budget for the fiscal year 2019, the whole of 2019. So the issue about cuts to the budget and so on are not now in vogue, so to speak.
The minister was responding to questions in the public domain about whether the coalition government is still functioning since the passage of the no-confidence motion against the government on December 21st. Minister Jordan says the budget has passed and there will be no cuts.
So this is not a scenario where there's no budget and you're restricted to 1/12 in accordance with the law. We have a passed budget. We have a budget. I think it might have been signed into law already by the president. If not, then I'm sure he will be doing that by the time he gets back from Cuba. So you will have a whole budget. We have the measures to be passed on the 3rd and 4th of January when the Parliament reconvenes to give credence to the various measures that we have announced in the budget. So many of them have to be done by legislation, and some pieces of those legislation have to be debated. Others are by negative resolution, which means they're laid in the National Assembly, and after a certain time, they become like force of law.
Parliament reconvenes on January 3rd.
So the 3rd and the 4th will be days designated for the debate on the measures and consequent passage, and so people can enjoy, for example, their increase in income tax threshold, right? The private sector can enjoy a reduction in the rate of corporation tax to 25%. People can have the knowledge that they can get their refunds when owed by the GRA, and the many positive measures that Budget 2019 have been.
Reporting for InfoHub, Felicia Valenzuela.
President David Granger has conferred the honor of senior counsel on 5 legal practitioners who have displayed a high quality of service in the legal profession and in their knowledge of the law with effect from January 1, 2019. The long-serving legal practitioners are Shalimar Ali Haq, Stephen Fraser, Carl James Boston, Robert Ramcharan, and Rajendra Punai. The 5 legal practitioners will be presented with their instruments of commission, elevating them to senior counsel at a ceremony to be announced later. In our next report, we hear that Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu has briefed Russian and Chinese ambassadors about government's plans.
The delegation comprised Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu and the Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenwich.
They had a few questions, the implications of the vote as we see it, and what actions the government is proposing to take. And we also indicated that there is to be, of course, as agreed on the 21st, a sitting of the House tomorrow afternoon, and that is to take place to look at what the Speaker has to say about the consequences of the vote, which was an undertaking he gave at the last sitting, and also to look at other matters in the other paper, which span a range of things.
Meanwhile, Minister Greenwich says government is prepared to approach the courts for an interpretation in the event that the Speaker rules contrary to its expectations.
My understanding is that the government can send the matter or ask the court to look at any issue it likes as soon as it is ready. And I think they are ready right now to explore the options that are available. Similarly, of course, the opposition can do the same.
Government's delegation met with Secretary General of CARICOM, Ambassador Erwin LaRocque, ambassadors of Russia, China and Cuba, High Commissioner of India and Charge d'Affaires of the Brazilian Embassy. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Minister of Public Telecommunications Catherine Hughes recently made it clear that the opposition has no authority to steer the actions of the government. Isaiah Braffett has that report.
Minister Hughes was at the time addressing the issue of the no confidence motion on the National Communications Network Program context alongside Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin. The minister said come Thursday, at the next sitting of the National Assembly, if the decision is not overturned by the Speaker, the government will move to the courts. This, she said, is a democratic right.
They are avenues to the courts, and I see absolutely nothing wrong with us as a government going to the courts. As a matter of fact, I want to go a little further. I actually think that as a government, we have a responsibility to the very large number of persons that voted for an APNU AFC government to be able to say to them and to ourselves that yes, we had some questions, we put it to the courts gave their response, and we abide by that.
Meantime, Minister Gaskin said the government will not resign based on one section of the Constitution when there is an article that caters for the government to remain in office. Further, he noted that the outcome of the issue, if taken to the courts, will set a precedent for the country.
You can't just read one section, the one that suits you, and ignore the one immediately below it. That also has to do with that. And there are other areas of the Constitution that are relevant to this whole matter. And that's why I totally agree with Kathy's point here that, we cannot, this is unprecedented. If anybody gets up in Guyana and says, I'm an expert on this, I've done this before, they're lying. It has never happened here before. So there are some gray areas, and these areas need to be examined because whatever the outcome is this time around will set a precedent going forward.
Nevertheless, both ministers are calling on Guyanese not to panic and to proceed with their daily lives as per norm. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Carol Greenidge on January 1 in Brasilia met with Senior Director of the United States National Security Council's Western Hemisphere Affairs, Mauricio Claver Corron. A release from the ministry said that the meeting was held on the sidelines of the inauguration ceremony for the President-elect of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro. The discussions centered on the Guyana-Venezuela controversy, particularly the Venezuelan Navy's recent interception of an ExxonMobil contracted vessel in Guyana's territory on December 22, 2018. The U.S. State Department issued a statement following the incident. Guyana has the sovereign right to explore and exploit resources in its exclusive economic zone. They further urged Venezuela to respect international law and the rights of its neighbors. Still to come, GWI collects $4 billion in revenue for 2018, and the Guyana Police Force rings in the new year with hundreds of promotions. Stay with us. Daddy! Welcome back. Sneaker Thorne tells us that the Guyana Water Incorporated raked in revenue in excess of $4 billion in 2018, representing a 10% increase of $3.6 billion in 2017 when compared to the previous year.
Speaking at the water company's year-end press conference on Monday, the managing director, Dr. Richard Van West Charles, credited the increase to a more intense approach to revenue collections. He said the increase in revenues will go towards improving some existing gaps within the networks and improve the water systems across the country.
There are a number of homes not connected to the system, and obviously we have to run lines so that they can get access. That costs. So we have to apply the money that we have is then applied to these different projects that emerge. Looking at ensuring that the schools, for example, and issues with the labs that we test the water in schools on a timely basis. We have to purchase reagents. And that's why these additional resources collected, which are due, are applied in that manner.
The increase is also as a result of the reduction of the sum owed to the company by defaulters from $5.2 billion to $3.6 billion last year. Additionally, the Public Utility Company approved the harmonized tariff of $250.
Implementation has commenced, and you would recall that they approved a fixed charge of $250 from October 2018, and that goes until October 2019, and that then goes to $500. Now, in 2018, November and December, the fixed charge, as we had agreed with PUC, would be applied to the distribution network and improvements of the network and addressing some of the gaps throughout the country.
Some of the resources from the fixed charge will go towards improving water systems and networks in Soesdijk, Crabwood Creek, Providence Phase 3, Farm and Covent Gardens, Bushlot, Skull City, and Good Intent, among others. GWI has projected a $5.8 billion in revenue collection for 2019. Cynical Thorn, InfoHub.
Commissioner of Police Leslie James has announced the promotion of over 700 ranks of the Guyana Police Force. The advancements were approved by the Police Service Commission and fall within the ranks of officers, inspectors, and subordinate officers. Senior Superintendents Edgar James, Royston Andrews Jr., and Paul Langevin were all promoted to Assistant Commissioners, while Superintendents Philip Azor, Adrian Simon, Michael Sutton, and Women Superintendent Charmaine Jones-Stewart, among others, rose to ranks of Senior Superintendents. 21 Assistant Superintendents and Women Superintendents were promoted to Superintendents. Corporal Stephen Harris was the lone cadet officer for this year. Other areas of promotion included Chief Inspector, Inspector, Sergeant, Corporal, and Lance Corporal. For the full list of promotions, please visit our website. Commissioner of the Guyana Lands and Surveys Commission, Trevor Benn, says the Commission will be implementing a number of projects aimed at improving their services.
We look forward to moving into the 2019 under the management team, with the management team and with the staff members to improve the services that we offer generally for the benefit of all. The Commission is engaged in a multitude of areas of work, all in line with its legal mandate.
There are a number of projects to be implemented in 2019. According to Ben, there will be a legislative review of all laws relevant to land administration in Guyana, along with the rolling out of the National Policy on Geographic Information Systems. He said, in addition to the construction of new sub-offices in several regions, there will be more training for staff.
We will pursue vigorously training of all levels of our staff, both local and international, and we will continue to respond to requests to attend conferences overseas to help to expose our staff.
He noted that all staff will be trained in ICT to facilitate the Commission's transition to digitization. The Commissioner also stated that there will be continued implementation of the Sustainable Land Development and Management Project in 2019. Guyana is also set to host the Committee for the Review of the Implementation of the Convention, CRIC 17, at the end of this month. For InfoHub, Anara Khan. A baby boy was welcomed at the Georgetown Public Hospital in the wee hours of New Year's Day, this being the first delivery at the institution for 2019. The institution also saw the successful delivery of a baby girl and 2 other boys. That's all for this evening. Connect with us on WhatsApp, like and subscribe to our Facebook page for notifications. You can also follow us on Instagram for updates and visit our website at dpi.gov.gy. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Goodbye.